Alright, so the order for this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about my thoughts before the album drops. I'm going to have my reaction to all the songs, and I'm going to have a little summary at the end of everything I think. Timestamps are going to be in that little bar on the bottom, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, as it's gotten a little closer to it dropping, a lot of people have pointed out a few things that they think might happen with Kendrick's album. Some people have noticed some of the producers that put out the announcement at the same time as Kendrick, they seem to be a little bit more towards the rock side, so they're questioning whether or not there's going to be any rock on this Kendrick album. Some people think that he's going to try to pitch it so one half is working with the TDE people and the other one is a PG Lang, which if you're not familiar with, that's pretty much Kendrick's label, whereas Baby Keem signed and some other guy. Some people think that maybe he'll be risky and try to do a double album drop where he drops one for TDE, one for PJ Lang, which we've seen some artists try to do and finesse their labels with before. I can't imagine Kendrick would do that, but if he did, that would be... I think that would shock everybody. We go from having no albums in the last 5 years to back-to-back ones on the same exact day. He could release a second one a few days later. We have no idea. The Heart Part 5 was fantastic. There were a few subtle things you might not have picked up on your first listen, just like will never happen with any Kendrick songs. You're not going to pick up everything. With Nipsey Hussle's verse and Kobe's verse that Kendrick was doing, for both of them he cut out the drums to represent that there was no heartbeat. He had the picture of everybody's hands at one point, things like that. It's just Kendrick is really artistic, and it's even with this reaction right here, there's no way I'm gonna pick up on everything. So I'm just gonna give you guys my initial thoughts, mainly what it sounds like, but also if there's any lyrics that stick out to me, I'm gonna make sure to cover that as well. If you look at the cover for the album, it's Kendrick Lamar, his longtime girlfriend, I guess she's not his wife, and 2 kids. People notice that he's got a crown on his head with thorns on it. He's got a gun in his back pocket. Some people think it's gonna be like one side of the album is gonna be focused on him, you know, protecting his family and kind of settling down, everything like that. And the other side of the album is going to be him still feeling like he has to be kind of the gangster that he built himself up to be, everything like that, and not really being able to escape his old ways, for example. No idea what we're going to get. Like I said, it seems to be a bit of rock producers on this, so where will that mix in with everything I just said? I don't know. Let me know if you guys were, obviously, even after, we're not going to have a clear answer for the concept of what the cover means with the double life potentially, with the two-sided album, where it really splits and everything like that. So if you guys have any theories, let me know, and we're going to get straight into the reaction. And we got it. Here we go, baby. Let's look at the track list. How many do you think there are? For some reason, I think it's like 19 is what people were saying. There's probably like 19 of them. I don't think we have any music videos yet. No music videos. No way, I clicked on it and it's not going to show up. Are you kidding? Come on. Oh, 18 songs. 18. And Mr. Morales at the end. We got some features on here. Baby Keem, Sam Duke, Kodak Black. Not familiar with too many of these actually, but I mean, let's get straight into it with United in Grief.
What is a bitch in a miniskirt? A man in his feelings with bitter nerve. What is a woman that really hurt? A demon, you better off killing her. What is a relative? Make a repetitive narratives on how you did it.
Alright, so the first song we got is United in Grief. But in that song, surprisingly, he keeps saying he grieves different and was talking about this time where he was, you know, really in a bad place and just spending money in ways that didn't make any sense. And even when he first had the money, he would do it in ways that didn't make any sense. And I'm not sure exactly what we're supposed to get from it. In the beginning, he was listing a bunch of things, and some of them he was pretty much answering. I'm not entirely sure what we're supposed to get of it yet. We're going to have, obviously, everyone look at it, figure out what their interpretations of what he was trying to say might be. But overall in the song, I think he was saying that he grieves different, but it's titled United in Grief because everyone kind of loses their mind when they're grieving to some extent. And you know, everyone has different ways of handling it, but that's kind of the way that we're similar. And united is because we all, no matter what economic state you're in or anything like that, that's one, you know, feeling, I guess you could say, that we all understand. Just a rough idea. I'm not entirely sure. We got this one called N95. Might have to do with the corona masks or whatever, but we'll see.
Pocket. 2 ATMs, you stepping to what? You are pocket. Who you think they talk about? Talk about us.
Alright, so right there we're listening to N95. I don't think I have anything. I didn't pick up anything too crazy from that. It just seemed as though he was talking about at one point how the industry has a monopoly over the rap game right now, and that they pretty much control everything and fuck over all the rappers. Which, interesting, this is the last album he's dropping with TDE. So maybe him moving to his own label is a little bit of him trying to take control of that and encouraging other people to do the same. But that is definitely something that was interesting. There were some other parts that I heard about maybe his family suing him and stuff like that, and kind of people might act out for money might be what he's talking about there, where all of a sudden people's morals don't really matter. They don't care about their family or anything anymore. They're more concerned with making money because they see their family as an opportunity to make money. Not entirely sure. I didn't catch all the lyrics, so I definitely could have heard a bit out of place there. But next up we have Wrld Steppers.
I'm a killer, he's a killer, she's a killer bitch. We some killers walking zombies trying to scratch that itch. Germophobic hetero. I am not for the faint of heart.
Okay, Worldwide Steppers. This is gonna be one of the songs that is broken down a lot. So at the beginning he talked it's gonna be a lot to cover. At the beginning he talked something about when he passes he wants his kids to build higher valleys, basically be more successful than he was. He talked about at one point the industry yet again like having a chokehold and really hurting these upcoming rappers and everything like that, and kind of killing the game to some extent. Oh, he talked about how he is gonna try to change that in some ways. What I think I heard, there was a lot in there. I'm gonna be honest. He was talking about how everyone's a murderer in some way, even the people working regular jobs, which I think there's a lot in there. There really is a lot in there. He was talking about problems with like society's way of thinking. He was talking about how he had writer's block for 2 years, and he prayed to God for him to help him, and that's what this song was. There was a lot. There was actually a lot in there. This is gonna be one of the most broken down songs. It sounds really good. He hasn't put out any music videos from what I can see, but this is one that I would definitely want to see. Honestly, any of these will be interesting just because Kendrick and his ability to make art out of this music, where you really have to break it down and everything like that, but it still maintains the good sound that people love today. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one. Worldwide Steppers. I would definitely pay attention to that. And we're gonna move on to the next one. 2 different features, Blast and Amanda Ryford. This is Die Hard.
Do you love me? Do you trust me? Can I trust you? Don't judge me. I'm a die hard. It gets ugly. Too passionate. It gets ugly.
Alright, so this one, Die Hard, I feel like it's more of a radio hit, not really too much to dig into here, but at one part he does say that he won't let his mistakes and regrets in the past hold him back from becoming the best person he can be, which I think great message there to throw in there. So he's not going to sit there and just think about his regrets all day, and he's still going to trust a random person, is what he said. He would still trust anybody. He's not going to let the past people who hurt him dictate who he is now. Great message.
I come from a generation of home invasions, and I got daddy issues, that's on me. Everything the four walls that taught me, may habits buried deep, that man knew a lot.
Alright, so we got this one, Father Time. It seems as though this one is called Father Time because he's saying how over time, people who grow up without a father start to see the problems that come with that and the effects it has on their lives, to the point where people who are grown men still have these kind of daddy issues in their life and have like mentalities that don't really work, and just they don't really grow up correctly, is what it seems like he was going for. And then he starts to say that Kanye becoming friends with Drake again was something that he didn't understand, but his first reaction to that was that he just must mentally not be mature enough to understand that, which is interesting because Kendrick's obviously friends with J. Cole, who is cool with Drake and has criticized Kanye a few times before. So he criticizes Kanye, but Kendrick, I'm talking about a different time period as well, but Kendrick says he feels as though he just must not be mature enough to understand why Kanye would forgive Drake. Not really sure. I don't really remember them beefing too much, but I'm sure it did happen. Kendrick, this is something he must have been thinking about, considering that he is a father and he's, has the second kid now and all of that. So he must have just been reflecting on like what his father didn't do for him, and like the effects that might have had on him. But he also mentioned his father one time trying to help out, it sounded like. I'm not sure what his history is with his father or anything like that, but definitely an interesting listen, and more will come out about that. Next we have an interlude, Rich Interlude.
I learned in trapping in the business, smart people making horrible decisions, Rich nigga get my dick sucked after the show. I ain't gonna lie.
Alright, so there, he has Kodak Black sprinkled in so far on a few things, but this interlude was only Kodak Black, but he's not getting any feature credits for it, which is interesting. He talked about how people were questioning why Kodak was with Kendrick and Kendrick is a legend and stuff like that, which Honestly, I was thinking the same thing at first. Kodak also apparently had talked to J. Cole in the past. So he's for whatever reason getting attention from both Kendrick and J. Cole. I don't know. I mean, obviously they can do whatever they want. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure why they got Kodak around. That's kind of interesting. I don't think there was too much to pick up from that. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention because I was kind of surprised to hear Kodak over that. But on to the next one, which is Rich Spirit, coming right after the Rich Interlude.
Taking my baby to school, then I pray for. Cause you bitches ain't never been cool. Writing testament, painting pictures, put me in the Louvre. That's a definite universal shift. I'm in the groove.
Alright, this song sounds like it was directed more towards some specific individual, but also like it was meant to be a radio song. I don't think there's too much to dig deep into. He did mention his family suing him again, which he's mentioned, I think, a couple times now. So, or a close friend. He didn't say who. Maybe this is a separate person. But he also did a lot of specific things that seemed as though they were directed to someone. So it might come out who that is. But right now, I can't think of anyone specific. I know he's beefed with Drake, but it didn't really sound like that fit either. He also mentioned clout chasing. Wouldn't make... Nah, I can't imagine that's Drake. If you got any idea, you can go ahead and comment it. But we're on to We Cry Together featuring Taylor Page.
Wasting my time and energy trying to be good to you. Lost friends, families, game more enemies because of you. Bitches staring at me in sorrow. Hoes scratching my cars.
All right. This is a... All right. So we're going to talk about this song a little bit. So this is two people arguing basically the whole time. Actually sounds pretty decent. I don't know. I was sitting there and I didn't feel like I had to skip it the whole time. They're arguing about a lot. They intentionally mentioned some things to stir up a little controversy. One thing that I thought was interesting that Kendrick said is that female rappers aren't on other female rappers' songs. They don't feature like that. I guess that is true, isn't it? Just off the top of my head. I mean, plenty of the guys are beefing with each other as well. But yeah, I feel like you don't really see that many females collab with each other, but there definitely are plenty that do it as well. It was a whole argument the whole time. They were saying crazy stuff. They were absolutely going off on each other. At the end, they end up coming together, and then what was it? The last second here, I'll play it. It said something like, have that conversation.
Stop tap dancing around the conversation.
Stop tap dancing around the conversation. So, maybe he's saying that you just have to argue it out and cry together and everything like that, hence the name of the song. But it felt like more of an interlude than an actual song. I can't imagine too many people are going to be going back to that too often. But with that being said, this is the end of part 1. 9 songs in with Purple Hearts right here. We're going to listen to it as Summer Walker and Ghostface Killah. I think I'm familiar with them. Let's see how it is.
My life is like forbidden fruit. My bitch know better than I do. A woman's worth. I barely went to church. I'd rather fast with you than fuck it up.
Alright, Purple Hearts I think was mainly for the radio. I'm going to be honest. I could be wrong. I could have missed that one. But we're going to move right on to the next side. We're going to notice if there's a big difference here. We got people like Baby Keem, Kodak Black. I'm not sure who the rest of them are, to be honest with you. But this could be a bit more of, you know, letting loose a bit on the lyrics. I'm not sure if Kendrick would do that, but some of his features would.
One of these lives, I'ma make these right with the wrongs I done. That's when I unite with the father, son, till then I fight.
All right, Count Me Out was interesting. So he started off by talking about how he had a ton of pressure on him, a bunch of people targeting him, just stuff like that. He kept saying that he enjoys when people count him out and everything like that. And then at the end, he was talking about how he had a ton of stress and everything like that, and he was doing the best he can. He had a ton of regrets, and that they kind of stuck with him. But like, so I wonder what he's going for here. I don't know if he's trying to play with how a lot of people say they love when people count them out and stuff like that, but really they're just like, I don't know. There's a lot to go with here. It's like how a bunch of people will like be in a bad situation and people will be piling on them and they'll be like, no, I like it, like say stuff to my face and count me out, and it's like, no, you're worried right now, like you're under a lot of stress right now. Don't know if that's what he's going for at all. But I don't know, this is an interesting one. There's gonna be more that comes out about this one. A completely different sound than Kendrick normally does. At the beginning it sounded familiar, but I can't imagine I've heard this before. I don't think there were any Kendrick leaks. With that being said, on to the next one, Crown.
The closest one's afraid to say they need some time. The turnaround is life or death, but you don't mind.
All right, this might be a wrong analysis here, but I'm gonna absolutely take a shot at it. He talked about at the beginning some people, when they need you to be there, the one time you can't be there, they'll get amnesia and forget all the good you've done for them before. And he also says that love changes with seasons, and he also said that the true love for him is like his fans keeping his music in rotation, and when they see him on the timeline, just like nodding and agreeing with like him being legendary is what I'm assuming, or something like that, or just approving of Kendrick. So my idea from this, actions are louder than words in terms of the love is them constantly going back to his music and appreciating all these posts about him and stuff like that. That's the first thing. Oh, people get amnesia when you can't help them the one time. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I think he's just trying to say that as soon as you can't help them, they forget about all the good you did, and that's where it comes in seasons, where people love you when you're there for them, but as soon as you can't be one time, no matter how reasonable it may be, all of a sudden they completely lose it. That's why he's saying that the love is seasonal. He also says you can't please everybody. He might be talking about how like people immediately, as soon as the George Floyd thing happened, they were pissed at him for not being at protests and not doing enough. And he was doing it, he just wasn't doing it publicly. So he's saying like the love changes as soon as something happens, then people react to it, and it's very dependent. It's very dependent love. It depends on you doing something that they like and everything like that. While there's other people who just stayed bumping your music, they didn't post anything, they liked a few posts on the timeline, everything like that. Maybe that's what he was going for. It's probably going to be a little more to it than that, but that's what I got. Next, song 3 of the second side of the album, featuring Kodak Black.
Push these niggas off me like, push these bitches off me like, push these niggas off me like.
There is no way, bro. This is a XXX fucking no way. XXX Lamar. Wow, this is wild.
The fakes, I'm pushing them all off me like, pushing them all off me like, yeah.
This one is interesting. We'll go big cam on this one. Kodak definitely tried to do a new school style. Usually when you have a feature, either the main artist will try to adapt to the other one's style, or the feature will have to try to adapt to the main artist. Very few of them work well together naturally. But in this case, Kendrick decided that he was going to try to move towards a new school style, I would say. Kodak was allowed to do what he regularly did, which is good, because I don't think Kodak could step with Kendrick. But Kodak did a good job on his verse, and he talked about how he's learning how to father his kid and everything like that, and he didn't have a father, which would explain some mistakes that you hear Kodak make, which sound pretty obvious, but, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. He's saying he went straight out of jail to working with Kendrick on this song. From Kendrick's side, I don't think he said too much that was groundbreaking. To me, the main thing I was focused on is him doing this Baby Keem-esque style, which, I mean, it's more of a new school style, we'll say. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt and, avoid the accusations that he's been writing a lot of Baby Keem's music. With that being said, it was fun hearing him go XXX Lamar. What a style. Next, we have the Savior Interlude, and this is, I believe, the second interlude on there. The first one was only Kodak, so maybe this one won't be Kendrick either.
You ever see your mama strung out while you studied division? Your uncle ever stole from you day after Christmas? Seen both of those in the county jail visits.
Okay, so that one, again, not Kendrick. That one's Baby Keem. It actually sounded pretty good. And he talked about a whole lot on there. He talked about how his uncle basically said that for his family, making it is just a dream, and it's not something that happens. It's magic. It's fantasy. I think he said fantasy was the word he used. And then Keem talked about how he went and he made it the whole way just to pay for his uncle's funeral. And it's like the dream or the fantasy his uncle never got to see become reality, which is terrible. But this is supposed to be the interlude leading into the next song. So we'll go into the next one. Maybe they'll talk a little bit more about it.
Mr. Morrell, give me high five. 2 times in the co-defendant, judging my life. Backpedaler. What?
Okay, this is gonna be another interesting one that is gonna get a lot of talk about it. Savior, featuring Baby Keem and Sam Do. I'm not sure who Sam Do is. I didn't recognize him at any point in the song. But Kendrick starts off by saying, like, all these people you view as your saviors. Let's hear it. We can hear exactly who it is that he names. So at the beginning of this song, we're talking about savior. He mentions a bunch of people aren't your savior. We'll listen to exactly who it is he names. So he's talking about all these people that are your idols are not your savior. And later he goes on in the song, he says that a lot of the surface level, things that we see of these people are all just to give them good press or anything like that. They can't share their actual opinions and that they're scared to, anything like that. And that's kind of how it has to be and stuff like that. You don't know their real opinions or anything, and that they're terrified to say them, which is obviously true. He goes on to say a whole lot more. Yeah, so he's just going on. He's talking about how everyone's not authentic. Everyone will do these favors for each other when it's really all about getting money, and they expect something in return or anything like that. He's talking about how him, J. Cole, Future, LeBron, anybody that you think is your idol is really not. You don't know their real opinions. They're terrified to publicly say their real opinions because they can't get any backlash for it. They just want to be on the right side of history. They want to be a marketable person, and that it's all about the money. Even with him, everybody, and that the reason he wasn't around and on Twitter or in public and hasn't dropped in a while is because he was, you know, kind of preserving himself in silence, if that makes sense. On to the next one, Auntie Diaries.
My auntie is a man now. I think I'm old enough to understand now. Drinking Parmesan with her hat turned backwards. Motorola pager, off-white guest jacket.
Oh my god. Alright, this one, Auntie Diaries, is another interesting one. So, I guess his aunt was transgender and his cousin was transgender. When he said that, I immediately looked up Baby Keem's name, because I was like, I don't know, maybe it's him. I'm not that familiar with them, but no, it's not Baby Keem, some other one. Doesn't matter. So he said he was getting accustomed to it or whatever, and that he would use the F slur back in the day with his friends, and that kids in school would use it, which is absolutely true. And then one day his cousin went up to him and was like, pretty much the big ending or whatever was his cousin went up to him and mentioned a time that Kendrick wasn't happy because a white girl at his show used the N-word, and he was like, we can say the F-word together and that's fine, but if you're gonna be okay with that, then you have to be okay with white people saying the N-word. And that's where the song ended. So here we go on to Mr. Morale.
He not your father, just detox. My calling is right on time. Transformation, I must have 1,000 lives and like 3,000 wives.
All right, Mr. Morale, I'm really struggling with, man. I really don't have much about this. This is gonna be one of the ones that people talk about, but I really don't know. I don't know what to say about this one. I heard that a leak was supposed to sound much different than it did. And it didn't end up sounding like what I expected it to, so I guess that leak was completely wrong. But yeah, I don't really have much to say. I don't know about this song, to be honest with you. Next one, Mother I Sober, or it might be I don't know if that's a separate thing or if that's, I think it's Mother I Sober, whatever.
Spirit God, whisper in my ear, tell me that she sees me. Did he touch you? I said no again. Still they didn't believe me.
Alright, so in Mother I Sober, he's talking about some of the guilt that he feels and everything like that. He talks about hoping that Hakeem made his mother proud and everything like that. So maybe that's part of why he and if you're not familiar, Hakeem, I believe, is Baby Keem. So I think Kendrick kind of took him under his wing a little bit just because of something like that, just because his mother and him and, you know, it's family, everything like that. There's a lot in that song. There's a lot that you have to listen to. I'm not going to break it down too much. I thought it was a good song. I think it's worth a listen. But yeah, you heard the snippet. He keeps a slow pace the whole time, and it's really just about what he's saying. And finally, to close the album, we have Mirror.
Cause all of it's toxic. Girl, I'm not relevant to giving no profit. Personal gain of my pain is nonsense.
Alright, so Mirror I think is another good one. So we're just I'm gonna skip to overall, really. From what I'm seeing online, you know, immediately it's trending track of the year, and at the same time it's also trending, or not trending, but people are also saying that they were a little underwhelmed of it, just out of the people I follow. I'm not sure if that's actually the case. For me, it's 10 of 18. I gotta listen to Die Hard again because a lot of people like that one. A lot of people liked Father of Time. But personally, the ones I liked, You Need a Grief, Wrld Steppers, Rich Spirit, Count Me Out, Savior, Interlude, and Savior, Mother I Sober, and Mirror. There were some I was iffy about, anything like that. I'm obviously gonna listen to it a few more times because with someone like Kendrick, your first listen shouldn't be the one that you define it all off of, or with anyone really. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good album. I mean, going 10 for 18 is impressive, even though some people expect more than that from Kendrick, with him being one of the most consistent artists of the decade, specifically with Mirror, or of the last 2 decades, I guess you could say, since he's only dropped probably, no, he's probably dropped more than that this decade. But Mirror from Kendrick Lamar, that sounds like it was definitely a leftover from Black Panther with just the beat. We'll skip right into it so you can hear it real quick.
I choose.
I'm sorry. Point a finger just to point a finger, cause critical thinking is a deal.
No doubt, that has to be leftover. But I think the album was good off of first listen. I don't really get the duality of anything with the cover art that everyone was talking about yet. I'm gonna have to think more about it. I'm gonna have to see other people's interpretations, match with my own interpretations, obviously. But if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.